Selamat malam semuanya. Terima kasih kita sudah berkumpul kembali pada seminar edukasi online SEO Wardaya College yang hari ini diadakan pada hari Jumat 18 September pukul 20 yang bertemakan tentang studi di University of Waterloo, Kanada, dan bagaimana meraih beasiswanya. Dan hari ini ada Miss Valerie dari Admission Office Waterloo University, dan ada Kevin Daniel yang dari alumni dari Waterloo University. Jadi Waterloo University adalah the most innovative university ya. Jadi the most innovative university. Nah, terus nanti terima kasih buat kolaborasinya antara Wardaya College dengan Sun Education sehingga seminar ini bisa berjalan dengan baik. Ya, oke. Nanti jika ada pertanyaan bisa langsung ke Zoom chat ya yang ada di kolom berikut ini. Oke, mungkin abis ini saya serahkan ke Pak Firman ya dari Sun Education. Ya.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Anton untuk waktunya. Sebelumnya perkenalkan nama saya Firman, Branch Coordinator dari Sun Education Gading Serpong. Pada malam ini saya mau memberikan sedikit gambaran mengenai Sun Education itu seperti apa. Saya mau sharing mengenai Sun Education. Ya, Sun Education sendiri kita merupakan konsultan pendidikan terbesar dan terlengkap di Indonesia. Kita memiliki banyak partner dari seluruh university yang ada di luar negeri. Kita mewakili sekitar 350 institusi dari sekitar 16 negara, dari Australia, Kanada, China, Indonesia, UK, Singapura, US, dan masih banyak lagi. Salah satunya yang kita bawakan hari ini adalah University Waterloo dari Kanada. Nah, seringkali saya ditanyakan sama orang tua, sama student juga, kira-kira kalau pilih negaranya itu dari mana aja ya, alasannya apa aja yang terbaik. Biasanya kita akan tanyakan budget mereka ada berapa, kayak itunya. Terus kira-kira jaraknya apakah ada yang keberatan apabila mereka mengirimkan anaknya studi agak jauh dari Indonesia. Terus kedua, mengenai independence level, apabila anak itu mandiri atau tidak ya, misalnya bisa lepas dari orang tua agak jauhan sedikit. Terus biasanya dari orang tua akan menanyakan budayanya kayak gimana. Kalau kita kan biasa di orang Asia pengen yang ada yang gimana sih kalau ke Western misalnya budayanya itu apakah membeda atau tidak. Terus bila dengan prestis. Dan yang kedua, biasanya kita menanyakan mengenai plan setelah kelulusan. Nah, untuk setelah biasanya berkonsultasi sekitar 2 minggu sampai 1 bulan mengenai Halo, ya, saya mau sharing. Sorry tadi ada sedikit gangguan mengenai admission prosesnya. Nah, di admission proses itu biasanya mereka akan menanyakan juga mengenai cara pendaftaran uang kuliahnya juga, mengenai visa sampai keberangkatan. Nah, biasanya juga kayak scholarship, kita juga akan bantu para student kita untuk mendapatkan beasiswa dari institusi, dan untuk lebih lanjutnya kita akan bisa menghubungi Sun Education terdekat. Cabang kita untuk teman-teman yang ada di luar negeri, di luar kota, kita ada di Bandung, Medan, Pontianak, Surabaya, Batam, Bali, Semarang, Makassar, dan beberapa kota yang ada. Dan jangan lupa untuk hadir di acara Expo online kita di tanggal 11 Oktober. Nanti untuk informasi selanjutnya bisa saya kembalikan kepada Pak Anton ya.
Ya, oke, terima kasih Pak Firman ya. Jadi kita akan mulai. Jadi ini adalah Waterloo University, dan tiap tahun memang Waterloo datang ya. Nah, ini ada Dr. Troy, Dr. Jeff ya. Biasanya mereka datang ke Wardaya untuk memberikan presentasi dan workshop matematika ya. Dan Waterloo ini memang terkenal, salah satu programnya adalah Faculty of Mathematics ya, di mana di dalamnya ada Actuarial Science ya, di mana aktuaria universitas di Indonesia itu menginduk kurikulumnya itu ke Waterloo University untuk program aktuaria. Nah, gimana cara untuk masuk ke Waterloo University dan bagaimana kehidupannya, nanti kita bisa langsung dengar dari Miss Valerie, yaitu International Recruitment Specialist University of Waterloo. Dan dari alumni yaitu Kevin Daniel, B.Math, alumni dari jurusan Combinatorics and Optimization University of Waterloo. Nah, untuk lebih jelasnya, untuk terkonek dengan Wardaya College, bisa menghubungi nomor telepon ini, dan untuk media sosialnya bisa ke Wardaya College. Ya, untuk waktunya, I give the time to Miss Valerie for sharing presented about Waterloo University. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, thank you. Perfect. So I'm just going to get my presentation up and ready to share with all of you. Wonderful. Thank you and good evening. It's morning here in Waterloo. And so I do want to say thank you for spending your evening with me. My name is Valerie, and I'm one of the International Recruitment Officers at the University of Waterloo. Sadly, can't be in Indonesia in person this year, but happy to be joining you virtually. The presentation will be about 20 to 25 minutes. And then we'll have lots of time to answer any questions that you might have. All right, so I'll get started. So usually if I'm in person there with you, I can give you one of our admissions brochures or more detailed brochures on any of our faculties. This year though, we have been able to provide those online for you. So lots of really great resources and information on our Future Students website, which I'll share with you just at the end of this presentation. But we also have our admissions brochures available for download, as well as for shipping to your home. So if that's something you're interested in, but again, our Future Students website has lots of really great details. We also have a really great mailing list so that you can stay up to date on all of the different things that are going on campus, the deadlines, and then more details and anything, if there's any changes with any of our programs, the mailing list will ensure that you get all of those details. At the end of this presentation, I will be able to add you to our mailing list if you are interested, and also provide more details on how to connect with us after the presentation. All right, so Waterloo was founded in 1957. Now we are just over 34,000 undergraduate students and over 5,000 graduate students. So in Canada, we are considered to be a medium-large institution. About 1 in 5 students are international, so 20% of our undergraduate population is international, and they're from schools from over 90 countries across the globe. We have 6 faculties, 11 faculty-based schools, like our School of Computer Science and a School of Accounting and Financial Management, and more than 200,000 alumni around the world. We're also known as Canada's most innovative university, and we've been known as this for the last 28 years. We're also ranked in the top 200 in the world. And from the very beginning, Waterloo was designed to be different, to teach people to think in new ways and to connect research and academics with real-world challenges and opportunities. You see it in our commitment to developing really great ideas, from the create our own intellectual property policy to over 30 credit support programs that span the entrepreneurial spectrum. And it really is a place where your dreams and your ideas will become a reality. You also see it in the unique way Waterloo embeds business into each one of our faculties. And I'll go over that in just a few moments. And you also see it in the largest university co-op program of its kind in the whole world, with over 7,000 employers hiring Waterloo students every year to do real work in organizations around the world. And I'll go over co-op in just a few moments as well. We are located in the beautiful country of Canada, and within the city of Waterloo. Canada is a really great option to consider your studies. There's a world-class education system, and there are degrees, so when you graduate, degrees that are recognized around the globe. We have a really high standard of living, lots of diversity and openness. There's lots of work opportunities for students while you're a student and after graduation. There's, and it's really quite affordable when you are comparing it to other top universities in other countries around the world. And it has lots of safe and peaceful communities within it. So it's a really great place to be a student. So as I mentioned, we are located in the city of Waterloo. So the city of Waterloo is a mid-sized city at around 130,000 residents. And I know that might seem small to individuals living in, say, Jakarta, but I assure you it's a really great place to be a student. And we're still connected globally to international companies, and the University of Waterloo itself sort of puts us on a world stage. The city of Waterloo is part of the Waterloo region, which is actually home to 2 other cities, so Kitchener and Cambridge, and that has just over 500,000 residents. It's made up of 195 different ethnic backgrounds, and it's about 100 kilometers south from the Greater Toronto area. And there's buses and trains that connect the city of Waterloo to the city of Toronto. So if that's something you want to, or a place to visit on weekends, you're definitely welcome to do that. The city is also a very student-friendly community, as it's home to 2 universities, so Waterloo, another university, and another college. So at any one point, there could be 70,000 students also studying within the region. Because of this, it's very safe, and there's lots of things that are very focused on students. There's a wide range of industries, from information technology to public service, including one of Google's largest hardware headquarters, just about a 10-minute drive from campus, and then many other international companies as well. Historically, it's home to the lowest unemployment rate in the country, and in the top 15 fastest growing communities in Canada as well. So it really is a great place to be a student and to potentially find employment and maybe live there after graduation as well. We're also home to 3 well-known think tanks, and so they're called the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics, the Institute for Quantum Computing, and the Center for International Governance and Innovation. And so I mentioned earlier that we really are taking research and applying it to the real world, and you can see it every day in any of these institutes, as well as other places and other professors and students across the city. Waterloo's campus looks quite large. You can see here, just a little quick snapshot of what we look like. But it's about 1,000 acres, and it is a self-contained campus. So it's basically like a city within a city. The buildings, though, are only about a 5 to 15-minute walk from one another. And there's no need to have a car because all transportation is included when you pay tuition, and walking is strongly encouraged, maybe even biking. But again, everything is within a 5 to 10, maybe 15-minute walk from one another. Lots of green space, a rock garden, lots of playing fields as well for our students to get out and explore the campus around them. All right, so shifting the sort of presentation just slightly. And so Waterloo is a comprehensive institution with just over 100 different majors and programs to choose from. You can see them on the screen in front of you. It might be a little intimidating to sort of understand all the choice that you have, but we group all of these programs and majors based on similarities and common factors into what we call faculties. And then you can see them in the various boxes on the screen. And you, as I mentioned earlier, there are 6 different faculties. So the Faculty of Applied Health Sciences, which is home to our health studies, kinesiology, public health, and really interesting human-focused majors and programs. And then we have the Faculty of Science, which is talking about all types of physical life and different sciences, such as biology, psychology, a really interesting science and aviation, where you do your science degree, but you'll also be gaining your commercial pilot's license. And then we also have a really renowned physics program in physics and astronomy. In 2018, one of our professors, Dr. Donna Strickland, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for the research she did a few years ago in lasers and laser technologies. So really great opportunity to work with Nobel Prize winners. And then we also do have a Faculty of the Arts. And the Faculty of Arts is one of our largest faculties. And so there are 29 majors to choose from. And it does include our School of Accounting and Finance. It also includes economics. But the Faculty of Arts also has studio arts, music, performance, as well as the social sciences like psychology, social studies, and social development studies. And then our Faculty of Environment is a fast-growing faculty focused on the earth and sustainability. So you'll find, again, geography and aviation, where you'll gain a geography degree as well as a commercial pilot's license. We have geography and environmental management, so focused on studying the earth. And then we also have geomatics, which is combining global positioning or global imaging positioning and computer science. And then moving into the Faculty of Engineering, I'm sure many of you are very familiar with some of our majors with engineering, 15 direct entry majors. So that means there's no general first year at Waterloo for engineering. So you would select one of the majors that you see in front of you, whether it's software, mechanical, maybe architectural engineering. Again, you would apply directly to one of these areas of interest. And then finally, you'll see our Faculty of Mathematics. Again, many of you are probably very familiar with many of the majors that you would see here as well. And so lots of options. We really do love math and everything to do with mathematics. You'll also find the world-renowned School of Computer Science, as well as the data science major, which can actually be done through the computer science major or the honors math major. Lots of really great choices if you do love math, like pure math, applied mathematics, lots of different options to really explore different aspects of mathematics and things that you maybe didn't even know about. And if you're looking for business, we do have it. We just don't have like a formal business school. So we don't offer a traditional management degree in business, but you will find business courses embedded into each one of these 6 faculties. We actually have 17 different business programs, and that does include our School of Accounting and Finance, various and business majors that that are highlighted in front of you. So science and business, for example, allows you to study the core business courses, but you also get to specialize in an area that you're interested in as well. So in this case, it would be a science major, or maybe honors arts and business. So you can study one of those majors in the arts, but also business. Environment business is the same, recreation, sport business. And then within engineering and mathematics, there's also business courses as well. We do also have the global business and digital arts major, double degree programs with Wilfrid Laurier's School of Business, and lots of entrepreneurship options and other ways of including business-oriented learning into your degree. So we think that basically the intersection of these three things is really important to your university experience. So the first of those things is quality. Are you getting a high quality education? And will you get the support you need to be successful? And then we look at communities. So can you find communities to join that are right for you and that are, similar to your interests? And then finally, preparation. When you graduate from a university, will you be prepared with what's next? And what are those experiences that you'll have to prepare you? And so we'll sort of explore these three areas throughout the rest of this presentation. So just like you'd evaluate the quality of any really big purchase, thinking about the quality of your university experience and education is also equally as important. So what does high quality even look like? And why does it and should it matter to you? So you may or may have not heard that some of the programs at Waterloo end up being extremely competitive in terms of admissions averages. However, this really isn't a function of how difficult those programs actually are. They're about a supply and demand. There's a relatively fixed number of seats in each program, and the more applications that we receive, the higher those grades need to be. A better indicator of the quality of a program is the minimum overall average we ask for all programs across all 6 faculties. And there are also certain minimum scores needed in certain courses. So everything is around an 80% or higher. And what this does is that it ensures that every course on campus can start at a level that is higher than what would be possible if we admitted students with lower scores from high school. The content that you're receiving in these courses can start at a more advanced level, and this ultimately leads to higher quality as well. The minimum grades also set you up for success in a really unfamiliar and new learning environment as well. So for most of our students, university is a little bit tougher than high school, which means that students often receive maybe lower marks than what they're used to in first year. But that minimum admissions average that you need to get into Waterloo's programs really will help you so that if your grades do go down a little bit, our students can still remain eligible for, say, co-op, maintain good academic standing, and we think you'll do well and be successful at Waterloo. We typically focus our decision on your final year of high school, so in your 12th grade, but we will also ask you for your grade 9 through grade 11 grades as well. So you'll just send in your whole high school transcript and scores. We do not require any standardized tests, such as like an SAT or ACT, but there are a few additional things that we do look for. So the application and admission requirements for all of our programs can be found at this webpage in front of you. So again, this is our future students website, and this is the admission requirements. So whether you are doing the Indonesian national system or IB, or maybe A levels, or a combination of different school systems, you're able to use this link and explore all of the majors Waterloo has and what the admission requirements are for those. Every program at Waterloo has a different and a very specific admission standard. So as I'm sure you're not surprised, honors arts will have a different requirement than, say, computer science. Our admissions decision is based on your academic scores from high school, potentially an English language test, so an Ielts or TOEFL, and the admissions information form, which I'll talk about in just a minute. All of this is done through the applications or the Central Application Center called the Ontario Universities Application, so OUAC for short. And for the 12th graders, so if you're in grade 12 right now, the applications will open in a few weeks. Usually it's early October that the applications will open in the central system. Once you apply online, you will then receive an email from Waterloo directly acknowledging your online application. We will then ask you to set up your Waterloo Quest account. And so this is a Waterloo specific account. And so this is where you will upload all of your electronic documents. So all of the different documents that are required from you. And the deadline is February 1st in the new year. You'll also work on your admissions information form on your Waterloo Quest account. So this is your chance to tell us more about you. It is required for math, engineering, computer science, and accounting, but highly, highly, highly recommended for all majors. Please take your time working on this because it really is an important feature of some of the more competitive programs. So you would tell us about the contests that you're writing, because I know many of you are doing different international and national contests. You would tell us about volunteering, extracurricular activities. Basically, you'll be doing, anything you do outside of the classroom is what we are looking for, whether it's sports, clubs, contests, like I mentioned. Because even if a student applies with 100% average and they do not fill this out, we will not be offering an offer, because we really do need to see a well-rounded student and make sure that you're a good fit with Waterloo. So there's many different things that sort of go into a decision when we're looking at the different programs. We also use the admissions information form to award scholarships. And so students are automatically considered for all scholarships. So whether you're international or Canadian citizen, there is a group of entrance scholarships that are awarded from the university, valued at $1,000 up to $10,000 in value for one time. There are additional scholarships after first year, but you will have to submit an application for that once you're at Waterloo. First year tuition will range from 40 to 62,000 Canadian dollars for the year. And that yearly amount is never paid in full right away. So you would actually pay only per academic semester. So every 4 months is considered an academic term, and that's what you would pay tuition. So again, this sort of shows you what the full year would look like. And then you will have to factor in maybe residents living in dormitories, meal plan, and other personal expenses on top of that as well. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the communities that I mentioned earlier. So why do these communities matter? So at any university, the communities that you're a part of will really make a big difference in your overall experience. It'll help you kind of figure out how much you're going to enjoy and what you get out of it. Two students who start in the exact same program should have two totally different experiences, and that's sort of what the one of the good things about university is. So I'll talk about some of the ways that you will be able to engage with communities at Waterloo. And so the first is the living in dormitories. And so, there's lots to consider when you do move to a university. Do you want to live in a suite style or dorm style, single room or double room? Do you want to be a part of a big community or maybe a smaller community? It really depends on the experience that you're looking for. And at Waterloo, we guarantee residence in your first year so that you can live on campus, be a 5 to 10 minute walk from your classes, and have all of your meals included. And so there's lots of ways to also grab a bite to eat and meet with fellow students. And so there's lots of places to eat. You'll never go hungry. I mentioned this earlier. It is like a city within a city. So everything you need to be successful and feel supported and to meet people will be found on campus. So 34 places to eat, lots of different food options as well. So with varied menus. And there'll be choices such as halal, vegan, vegetarian, and lots more as well. We also have little coffee shops that are around campus because we know that's very important to our students. And food services is also a significant employer on our campus for students. So if you do want to find a part-time job to earn a little bit of extra money, this could be a really great option for you. Another community that you could look into is the clubs and societies. And so they're your chance to connect with other people that are just as passionate about the same things as you are. We have lots of different clubs that are available to join, over 200 in fact. And there's every type of club and contest. Our brand new esports is a very competitive level of online gaming. And some are more focused on, say, academics. Some are more social, some are political, cultural, some are for games, clubs, and hobbies. So we really encourage you to find one of those clubs that you might be interested in. We also have over 600 varsity athletes, 19 varsity sports teams, and facilities including fields, ice rinks, pool, a rock climbing wall, racket courts, weight and cardio rooms, and lots more, all free for use for our students. You can also attend any of these varsity games, so that top level of competition. 2020 looks a little bit different, of course, because of the pandemic, but hopefully in 2021, next year, we can start holding all of these games again on our campus. And the campus recreation program is one of the biggest in the country as well. So there's 14 intramural sports leagues, including basketball, maybe dodgeball, and lots of fitness classes. Many of our students also choose to work part-time on campus. So either to help pay for school, or it's a chance to meet new people and get involved. So as an international student, you can work part-time on or off campus while you study. There are literally thousands of student jobs available to you on campus. They could be food services, like I mentioned, athletics, in the library, or maybe being a teaching or research assistant as well. All right, perfect. So again, moving the presentation along again to a different sort of area, and how Waterloo will prepare students for what's next. And so if your university experience doesn't prepare you for what's next, be that grad school, full-time work, or maybe starting your own business and being an entrepreneur, then what's the point? Academics are super important, but they're not the whole story of your undergraduate education. So I'm going to talk about a few ways that Waterloo will prepare you. Waterloo is one of the top universities in the world for founders of unicorns. And so unicorns are startups that are worth and valued at over $1 billion. So why do we become this big name in entrepreneurship and innovation? Well, one of the reasons is Waterloo's creator-owned intellectual property policy. Some of the smartest researchers in the world choose Waterloo because when they discover or invent something on campus, it remains their own 100%. There's a whole ecosystem of research, academics, support, scholarships, resources, and mentors, even a dedicated residence community at Waterloo to help you develop these startups and develop these ideas. And the Waterloo region itself is among the world's top 25 startup ecosystems and often referred to as the Silicon Valley of the North. But what if you don't want to be an entrepreneur? That's okay. It's more than just the people founding startups. It's part of the culture at Waterloo, within the university, and even within the city. It's really about thinking creatively and pushing boundaries, taking new and unconventional ideas and bringing them to reality. There are skills that you can apply whether you join a brand new startup or a larger, more established company as well. Okay, so I've mentioned this a couple of times, but what is this co-op word? And so co-op stands for cooperative education, and it's very similar to maybe a more traditional internship, but I'll share with you a few of the ways why it is different as well. Cooperative education is basically a system of study that integrates terms of paid career-related work experience with academic terms. And this creates a cycle of learning where classroom education makes workplace contributions even stronger, and then workplace experiences enhances the classroom learning. The university operates the largest post-secondary co-op program of its kind in the world, with over 20,000 students, co-op students, enrolled in all programs at Waterloo, and over 7,000 employers that are hiring these co-op students in over 60 countries. And so I would like to go over, how this works, because it is quite different than other institutions. And at Waterloo, the 1 year is broken into 3 different terms. So every term is 4 months, and so 3 terms is the 12 months of the year. So you'll do 1, 2, or 3 school terms. Again, that's 4 months per school term before you go off on your first work term. And during your study term, before your first work term, you'll go through the hiring process. This is where you'll build your resume, apply to jobs, and you'll go to interviews, all done through Waterloo. And even through the current pandemic, our students are still securing co-op jobs, just virtually. Interviews are done online or over the phone, and then students will go work for companies virtually as well. So once you secure your work placement, you will then start your co-op term. And so once you start your co-op work term, you'll alternate between 4 months of school and 4 months of work terms until you graduate. And again, each one of these represents a term, which is 4 months. In that study term, you will come back to Waterloo and do your academic studies, and then you will do the job search over again to find your next and secure your next work term. And again, it alternates every term until you graduate. Ultimately, you'll complete 8 school terms, which is like any other traditional bachelor's undergraduate degree, and 4 to 6 different work terms. This is really your chance to discover what you love, and sometimes discover what you don't love, because you'll get to try it out for 4 months and you don't have to go back to the same job. This is your chance. You're going to build your resume by gaining up to 2 years of work experience in your field of study. You'll get to improve your interview skills and promote yourself to employers and network with lots of different individuals. And of course, help fund your studies by earning between 42 and 90,000 Canadian dollars over those 2 years of paid work experience. That's not just for one academic co-op term. It really depends on what job that you apply for and successfully work for. It depends on lots of different factors. And again, this is based on average earnings and it dependent on the program you're in. And what if you're not in co-op? We also do have the regular system of study, of course. So co-op is not for everyone. You might want your summers off to go back home and visit for a longer period of time, or maybe you have different jobs lined up and available to you. And that's completely okay. You'll still be in school between September and April of each year, and then you'd have your summers off. It's really the quickest path to graduation, and all the same supports are available to you that are available to our co-op students as well. So just over 6,000 students received their degrees virtually from Waterloo of June of this year. Some of them have started companies, some made new best friends, some of them took a co-op job that convinced them to pursue a career that they hadn't even considered before. All of them have changed, all of them have really evolved. They took advantage of the excellent education at Waterloo. They formed relationships and joined communities and emerged better prepared for what's next. And I hope that you were able to picture yourself maybe in the future at Waterloo, and that in a few years I can also talk to you or talk about you like this as well. So that is the presentation from me. I would like to share some of our social media channels And as well, remember that we do have the Future Students webpage. I will also sign you up for a newsletter if that's something that you're interested in. And please feel free to write down my email address. I am the international rep for Indonesia. So while I'm in Waterloo still, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So I'd like to just say thank you again and can open it up for questions now, I think, before we invite Kevin to do to chat with the students as well. Are there any questions from anyone? Maybe, I can't really see any questions, but maybe if, Anton, if there's anything that you wanted to share or ask me, I can cover that, or we can wait.
Okay, Miss Valerie, the audience is in YouTube live. Yeah, they around 80% participants already
Wonderful.
in YouTube live. Now we want to hear about from alumni Waterloo University, Kevin Daniel.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Perfect.
okay.
I'll just
After this, we can answer the question. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Hi, Ms. Valerie. Hi. Thanks, Anton. Should I speak in Indonesian or just English? I think like most of the students are Indonesians anyway, so I'll just use Indonesian.
Di Indonesia boleh, nggak masalah.
Bapak sama Miss Valerie untuk presentasinya. Saya Kevin Daniel, saya masuk Waterloo tahun 2014, waktu itu lulus dari 8 tahun. Kemudian awalnya itu ambil CS, co-op, habis itu switch major several times sampai akhirnya graduate dengan major math with minor on combinatorics and optimization sama computer science kayak gitu. And I think I can share first. Ini kita share screen ini, jadi sedikit background sama di Waterloo itu karena ada co-opnya, I was able to do several internships and join like several startups. Jadi sempat bikin iOS app namanya yang at that time like 1.5 million users, intern at Google, then work at another startup, and then switch to do machine learning research. And sekarang aku fokusnya untuk bantuin beberapa hal related with di Indo. Salah satunya itu sistem COVID-nya Indo. Yeah, so essentially I'll share another screen. Okay. One of the interesting thing ya tentang Waterloo tuh grup Indonesianya itu. Jadi ada grup namanya ISA, Indonesian Student Association di Waterloo, yang ngadain event. Biasanya tuh ada 3 event yang wajib every term, beginning of term, terus kayak midterm sama akhir term. And it's such a great community untuk kayak hangout atau belajar dari kakak kelas, sehingga kalau kalian bakal kayak feeling homesick atau kayak bingung sesuatu, bisa ask for help from the community. So yeah, I think ini kan kelihatan ada share screen untuk event-eventnya ISA. And yeah, I guess I'll go back again untuk study di Waterloo. Pas 2014 itu aku ambil 1 tahun sekolah, jadi itu co-op sequence 4, di mana we take 3 school terms, habis itu internship kayak gitu. Nah, dan pada saat digabung di Waterloo tuh ada sistem at that time called Job Mine. Now it's like Waterloo Works, which helps you find potential employers. Terus nanti basically kalau misalnya kamu nggak gabung menggunakan sistem itu, biasanya jauh lebih susah dibandingin di dalam sistem itu. Jadi pertama dari sisi credibility-nya Waterloo, mungkin beberapa employer itu bakal lebih tertarik untuk ngambil orang-orang yang dari Job Mine atau Waterloo Works. Makanya rate dari acceptance-nya itu jauh lebih tinggi kalau misalnya apply dari sana. And then dari internship pertama itu kita bisa ngebangun resume dan connection yang membantu banget untuk kedepannya kayak gitu. Karena a lot of the time orang-orang tuh nggak dapat experience cukup banyak gitu. Setelah lulus mereka baru gabung ke suatu kayak apply their knowledge in real life. Terus kalau misalnya ternyata nggak cocok atau gara-gara skillnya itu beda banget yang real life sama yang di sekolah kayak gitu, akhirnya jadi nggak match kayak gitu. And so ya salah satu paling impactful dari Waterloo sih itu co-opnya itu karena dia ada selang-selingin. Jadi once you have like 1 year of experience atau kayak even some of them like 4 months or 8 months of school experience, terus langsung bisa apply kerja, and you can see if you actually like the job kayak gitu. So itu dari sisi nyari kerjaannya. Kalau misalnya kayak akademiknya itu banyak banget orang-orang, again I'm mostly on side of math ya. Jadi banyak orang misalnya Putnam competition atau PCM, ICPC itu dari Waterloo, dan banyak yang maju untuk ambil PhD atau masters at pretty good schools. One of my friend went to MIT. I used to do research at CMU, terus jadi tadinya initially I want to do PhD there, tapi decided to go to Indo instead. Ada juga orang Indo, Erlang, yang sekolah di Waterloo juga. Dia baru lulus masters di Cambridge sekarang kayak gitu. Terus I think he's moving to Georgia Tech after that. Basically kalau dari sisi academics, ya Waterloo itu solid banget, bisa buat kalau mau pursue academic careers. And thirdly itu dari sisi entrepreneurship juga sih, karena I think yang bedain banyak sekolah dari Waterloo tuh there is this thing called velocity incubators, right? Yang dimana orang-orang yang interested tentang startup itu bisa ditemukan di satu tempat kayak gitu, di velocity incubator itu. Dan startup pertama yang I worked at itu gara-gara gabung di velocity kayak gitu. So essentially velocity is this place where mereka tuh support berbagai macam orang yang interested di kerjain startup. Misalnya, ada orang hardware gitu, tapi mereka perlu orang software, tapi perlu juga orang bisnis and perlu orang design kayak gitu. Tanpa si velocity incubator ini, people tend to kayak stick together with their own major. Jadi kalau orang hardware gabungin sama orang hardware, orang finance gabungin sama orang finance, tapi with this incubator, kayak semua orang jadi bisa kayak gabung, dan itu bikin inovasi yang jauh lebih efektif kayak gitu. Karena if I'm not mistaken, Waterloo itu salah satu yang paling banyak bikin itu ya, unicorn companies. So, I think incubator sama kayak the whole helps a lot in helping people become an effective entrepreneur, dari koneksinya, dari knowledge-nya, dari kayak talent setiap orang-orangnya kayak gitu sih. Yeah, so to recap, it was a really great experience. I recommended it to like everyone. Kayak saya sering banget ngomong ke banyak orang kayak, hey, kenapa nggak ke Waterloo aja kalau mau CS atau Math kayak gitu. Karena tadi itu first buat experience, job experience itu bagus banget dari co-op program. Habis itu akademiknya juga solid, entrepreneurship juga oke banget, dan untuk asosiasi Indonesia juga ada dan sangat suportif gitulah di Waterloo. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Ya begitu aja Pak Anton ya.
Oke, thank you Kevin ya buat presentasinya, buat sharingnya sebagai alumni dari Waterloo University ya. Nah, sekarang kita masuk ke sesi Q&A ya. Oke, kita masuk ke sesi Q&A. Mungkin ada pertanyaan di YouTube chat ya. Oke, to Miss Valerie, if we want to apply a Waterloo University, do we need a level certificate?
That's one way. You can provide an A-level, but if you are doing the national curriculum and going into grade 12, we can also use that for admissions as well. So lots of students don't realize that you can actually graduate and apply with a national Indonesian system. So going through grade 12, submitting your midterm grades in your final year of high school, and then we will award a conditional offer. But yeah, so national Indonesian system, maybe the British system, so A-levels, IB. We have a variety of different admission requirements that we would look for. If you are applying with the Indonesian, of course, we will also need an English language test score, so IELTS or TOEFL.
Okay, the second question from Federico. What is the difference between the software engineering in the engineering sector and Maths 1?
Awesome. I did see that question. Really good question, because it is shown in both of those areas. And so it's actually the exact same major. So it is still an engineering major. The only reason it shows also in the Faculty of Mathematics is because it does share some of the same courses. So you will be taking some of the computer science courses as the math and computer science students do, but it is the exact same major. It is an engineering degree, but it does share some courses with both faculties.
Okay, and then the third question from Adrianto, is there food science technology major in Waterloo University?
So not by the exact name, but the best sort of fit would be, I would say, probably chemistry, honestly, or chemical engineering. So if you want to go into food sciences and food safety and that kind of thing, I would actually recommend going into chemistry and chemical engineering, one of those two.
Okay, and then the other question from Mr. Tony. What is the difference from computer engineering, software engineering, system design engineering with computer science and data science?
Perfect. Awesome. And sorry, can I ask, is Kevin, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You are. So what major? Sorry, I missed. I don't speak Bahasa, so I'm sorry. I missed what major that you were in.
So I was initially in computer science, but yeah, I switched into mathematical studies.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm minored in CO, Combinatorics, and CS.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I just asked because maybe you can help me with this question a little bit, comparing the three. So I will do it on a very basic level, but if there's any other details maybe that you want to share, especially about the computer science side of things, maybe you could share that afterwards. Absolutely. But basically, so the main difference between computer engineering, software engineering, computer science, and then systems design engineering also snuck in there, which is great. I'll talk about that in just a second. Basically, how I sort of compare them, and this is probably not great if you are an engineer, I'm sorry, but I sort of look at it as a continuum. So computer engineering on one side is basically the hardware. You are building the actual computers. You are potentially using some of the code in the systems, but not as much. You really are building those computers. Software engineering is basically using the code from computer sciences and building programs. So building programs that computer sciences will use or computer engineers will use in their computers. And then computer scientists really are sort of the background. So they're doing all of the programming, all of the coding. They're creating new and really interesting things that both software engineers and computer engineers will use eventually. But honestly, there's a lot of overlap, especially in terms of the companies that you'll work for and even the job titles, really, and the types of research. Like there really is a lot of overlap, especially the software engineering and computer engineering. Is there anything else that I missed in there, Kevin?
No, I think that's a really great description. Like, I really like the continuum thing because, like, I do think that computer engineering is just like very hardware oriented, even though they do touch into a bit of software too. Software engineering is focused on like, I think, yeah. So software engineering is focused on the software side, but when you compare it to CS, right? Even the course are very, very similar. Like there's a lot of courses that are like overlapping. But I guess like CS is often more theoretical and software engineering is more like application oriented. But in terms of job, like a lot of computer engineer work at like the same like place.
Exactly.
Like just it turns out to be like working at the same thing. So,
yeah, it's so true, which people don't often realize. Even some of the courses are very similar. One other big difference I just thought of is the flexibility of the major. So computer engineering, software engineering are very structured. So you are working towards becoming a professional engineer. And so the courses you take, very few. Computer science, I would say, offers a lot more flexibility and allows you to take a few more additional courses that you might be interested in. So whether it's maybe some math courses, other courses outside of that area, a lot more flexibility. You will end up with a bachelor's of mathematics or a bachelor's of computer science. And then you will, in the engineering, you are working towards becoming a professional engineer. So you'll have a bachelor's of applied sciences in that case. I think I can't speak Bahasa, but I see part 2 of that question, and I see big data and AI, very popular. And if I'm reading this correctly, big data or data science, and artificial intelligence can actually be studied in all of those areas, even systems design engineering, which I'll talk about in a second as well. But data science, for example, is a major that you can take as an honors math student or computer science student. Artificial intelligence can be definitely studied once you're in engineering or taking courses in computer science. So again, those 2 big fields can be covered in all of those areas as well, all of those programs.
Okay. So AI and big data in which group, engineering or math?
I would say either one. Yeah, students can actually take courses as a full major. If by title, like data, it would be computer science or mathematics, but you can actually study it and focus within engineering as well. So again, that's just to show how much overlap between those subject areas there are.
Okay. There is another question again, Miss Valerie, from Mr. Brian. Is there any full scholarship in Waterloo University?
So there's no full scholarship. So there's, you might have read in the past or know other students that have received full scholarships for Waterloo. Sadly, we no longer offer those. We have turned to, we call them the Global International Awards from the Faculty of Mathematics. And they're scholarships that are available for math and computer science students. The one thing I forgot to mention, even though I'm sure you're familiar with our contests, but they are the Euclid Math Contest or the Canadian Senior Math Contest, all of the contests run by the Center for Education in Math and Computing. And so we would also use this information to make scholarship decisions. We are planning on holding it in November and April. But yeah, there'll be more details coming out probably in the next few weeks about how those contests will look for 2020 and 2021.
Okay, yeah. So for Euclidean, usually Wardaya make the Euclidean Contest, and then the policy maybe for next year we will be announced in few weeks, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, we'll give you more information on that.
Okay, another question again, Miss Valerie from Mr.
Yeah.
Adam. Is
Yeah.
there full scholarship in Waterloo University for International Biology Olympiad medalists?
Unfortunately, no. So no full in any major in any area. We would love to hear about that though, because the Faculty of Science does have a separate sort of pool of scholarship scholarship money that they would award to science applicants. So yeah, those types of things would be included in the AIF, so the admissions information form, and then we would use that for consideration. But unfortunately, no full scholarships at all.
Okay, another question again from Mr.
Mhm.
Albert. Does Waterloo accept IELTS or TOEFL?
Yes, definitely. So either one. We are looking for TOEFL 90 overall, and then a 25 in writing and speaking. For IELTS, we are looking for a 6.5 overall, also 6.5 in writing and speaking, and then a 6.0 in reading and listening. Those are sort of our basic minimum requirements for full-time studies.
Okay. Another question again from Mr. Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
My son already entered Waterloo University and received $10,000 Canadian dollar scholarship, like entrance international scholarship in the first year, but only that one time. In the subsequent years, third and fourth year, are there any similar scholarship with that significant amount? If any, how and where to apply?
That will be the largest scholarship that Waterloo awards. After first year, there are they're called bursaries. So there is an application for international students, and they can be awarded $1,000 up to $4,000 per term. So those are the next sort of largest scholarships awarded.
Okay.
And yes, those do require an application as well. So it's best that they speak with the student financial accounts department, or they can email me and I can connect them as well.
Okay. Okay. Another question again from Mr. Theodore. Are there any additional requirement to apply a computer science major in Waterloo University?
The biggest thing we're looking for is academics. So we really do need to see strong scores in your courses. So if you're doing like the national system, we are looking for at least a 90%, if not higher, in mathematics, as well as at least a 90% overall academic average. Computer science is the most competitive program at Waterloo, one of the most competitive in the country, actually. And so we do really need to see strong academics, but also, some work on the AIF, so that admissions information form. So take some time to fill that out. Tell us about the things that you're involved in, contests, maybe clubs, volunteering. We do need to see strong academics with, well-rounded student. But those are the big things, and then potentially IELTS or TOEFL. But really, computer science, the first thing they look for is strong score in math, and then strong score overall.
Okay, another question again. Yeah. For to Kak Kevin, Kak Kevin, I read online that people in Waterloo tend to already have their own social circle and makes it hard to make new friends. It is true. What the social life like in the university?
Well, I don't think it's 100% true. Kaya, there are some people that have like connections before university, like during high school, but then it usually only lasts for a couple of, I guess, terms. And then afterwards, once you do co-ops and all that stuff, you start to hang out with different people, right? So kayak seterusnya itu pasti bakal social life-nya banyak gitu. Kalau dari social life sendiri, itu depends on person to person. I think it's kind of like the typical kayak Canadian university aja sih. Cuma kalau mungkin di major kayak engineering atau kayak math gitu yang technical, terutama around international students, kebanyakan tuh hangoutnya tuh either di library atau kayak discuss suatu ide startup gitu, working on some other stuff kayak gitu. Itu kayak daily stuff, kayak weekday stuff, terus misalnya pas lagi weekends palingan hangout ke rumah temen kayak gitu atau stuff like that gitu sih. Jadi tentang reaching to other people sebenarnya bisa banget, tapi I guess when you read online itu dari kayak Reddit gitu ya. I think kayak Reddit emang banyak yang orang-orangnya kurang, I guess kayak nggak socialize a lot, so mungkin itu general impressionnya kayak gitu. Tapi secara general orang-orangnya open banget sih. Dan even though awal-awalnya mungkin memang masih gabung banget dari high school atau kayak grup-grupan, tapi eventually after several co-ops, gara-gara orang yang kepisah, kelas-kelasnya beda, nanti kita bakal berbaur sama orang-orang lain. Gitu sih.
Kira-kira populasi orang Indonesia di Waterloo ada berapa ya, Kak Kevin? Estimate. Ratusan ada?
Estimate, ya several hundreds kayaknya. Total yang ini ya, total
sama
yang
graduate students gitu.
Di luar. Ya sama graduate juga. Kalau misalnya ya undergrad kan paling maksimum every year, I think 20 kayaknya itu udah banyak banget ya. Nggak nyampe. Kayak belasan gitu, tapi karena biasanya yang ini tuh suka gabung gitu, jadi berasa lumayan rame sih. Kalau grup Indonesianya juga.
Iya, terus kelebihannya kalau di Waterloo kan mereka bisa co-op itu ya. Jadi habis lulus ada working experience. Jadi istilahnya company can pay higher ya, right? Because you have working experience in co-op.
Iya benar. Biasanya jauh lebih tinggi karena by graduation you can have kayak years of work experience kan. Jadi kayak itu hitungannya bukan new grad lagi gitu, kayak udah banyak experience gitu.
Oke.
Dan banyak juga yang kayak intern terus convert full time kayak gitu. Itu juga possibility yang lain kayak gitu. Jadi ada yang ngejar internship supaya nanti pas lulus udah langsung di accept kayak gitu.
Okay, another question again from to Miss Valerie. Does Waterloo accept SAT?
We don't require it. So if you've done quite well on an SAT, like if you are planning on writing a subject test or like the overall just SAT, you can submit it. But because it's not required, but once you submit it, we do have to look at it as an official document. So I tell students, if you've done quite well, so if you are, in the 75th percentile, so like if you're, better than 75% of the other students, yes, you can submit it, because for those competitive programs, it could be something we use to help with the decision, but it is not required. So don't go out of your way to write it. But if you are writing it because of other American colleges, you can submit it, but only submit it if it is a really good score.
Okay, and then another question again from Mr. Arfeleo. Recently, Canada has banned Indonesia because of the pandemic. Can we still apply and study at Waterloo University if this pandemic lasts until next year, even next 2 years?
Yes, definitely. So we, we've closed our borders to lots of countries. So just like many other countries, we're trying to keep the numbers as low as possible. But yes, we're definitely still open. We are almost 100% virtual learning for most of our students. So it is like an asynchronous approach. So things will be videotaped and recorded, and international students, so in Indonesia or lots of other countries around Indonesia, will join and watch the videos at a different time. But yes, I still encourage students to apply, even if next year maybe looks the same. Hopefully things will start to look, a little bit better, but yes, definitely you can still do virtual learning. Every year, Immigration Canada is changing or every month I should say, is changing their policy a little bit, but the hours you are still, as of right now, the hours that you are doing for school will still count towards potentially applying for the post-study work permit as well. So we're being as flexible as possible. The Canadian government is also being flexible to encourage students to still attend university, but just virtually. So in your own home for now.
Okay, and another question again. Do you know any information about actuarial major?
Yes, definitely. So actuarial science is one of our more popular majors. In order for you to successfully enroll in it, you do have to be admitted into the honors mathematics major. So when you do that online application, you apply to honors math. At the end of first year, you must have to achieve a 75% average in first year at Waterloo, and then you would fill out the form to go into actuarial science. So actuarial science is a really more advanced program if you are thinking of actuarial. And so I just want to give you a few examples of some of the courses that you would take. At Waterloo, we have a really great, on our future students webpage, we have a really great programs page that shows you the courses you would take and the type of co-op jobs and where our recent graduates are also working. But basically, you'll go into some of the questions that you might answer as an actuary is, how will the stock market perform next year? How much will insurance companies pay out in claims next year? So you really are using real world problems and finding solutions for those. You'll take courses in finance, risk theory, pension mathematics, taught by professionals who are actuaries. And so we're one of North America's top actuarial science schools. And the government of Indonesia actually hired our department to come and help train the future actuaries of Indonesia. So the READY project was something that we worked on the last 6 years or so, where professors would come to, you probably met, I saw Jeff picture at the very beginning of this presentation, and he was meeting with professors in Indonesia to help create an actuarial science program. So it just shows the strength of what the actuary program is. And then students are going into finance and accounting analyst, web solutions developer, actuarial analyst, and then at lots of the big companies. So Canada Life Insurance, Manulife, London Life, lots of finance and life and insurance companies, PricewaterhouseCoopers. So lots of really great connections to industry as well.
Okay, and another question again from Mr. Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, can a university student start apply for a Canadian permanent residence while being a student? Also, I assume a Canadian university graduate would have an advantage in applying for Canadian PR. But can it be done while he is continuing his studying in US after he graduates from Canada University?
So if you are working on the permanent residency, you do have to stay within Canada. So that process would start after graduation, and typically students will start working on that when they're doing their post-degree work permit. I believe some of the hours, if you are doing co-op within Canada, I believe some of the hours will go towards that. But yeah, no, it's something after graduation, but you do have to live and stay in Canada to work on that. But we do have immigration specialists and consultants, so they can walk students through the process and how that would work and what are those expectations to gain permanent residency.
Okay. Is there any question from you again about Waterloo University that I want to share about Ready Project? Yeah, Ready Project has the actual actual class next week. This is Ready Project, and 22nd September until 25 September about actuarial science class, yeah. And then you can register in this link, and if you already register and follow every session full by Zoom, you can get the e-certificate. Yeah, this is from Ready Project under Waterloo University. Yes, this is the universities in Indonesia that collaboration with Waterloo University with Ready Project. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Anton, I forgot there was a question earlier about system design engineering, and I forgot to answer that. So I'm going to go back to that just for a minute. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So basically, systems design engineering is actually one of the more flexible majors, and typically, students are really just looking at basically are looking at all systems of something, of systems of maybe a machine, systems of a company, and they're applying engineering principles sort of to figure out how to optimize that system. And so it's really lots of projects a part of that, and lots of group work kind of in individual projects as a part of that major. But basically, students will look at systems as a whole and assess how one change will affect other elements in that system. And then they'll use engineering modeling, analysis, and then design methods. But one of the big features is that the co-op jobs, as well as where students work after graduation, are very similar to computer software and computer science students. So you'll see application developer, user experience designer, machine learning developer at Deloitte, Yelp, Environment Canada, which is interesting, Shopify, and then going on to work as a software development engineer at Amazon. They're doing hardware program manager at Microsoft. So really it's combining a lot of those fields. So there's so much overlap between the different things. It's sort of the types of courses that you want to take while you're a student. So there is some flexibility in in system design, where computer and software engineering is a little bit more rigid. There's a few more required courses as a part of that degree. Sorry, that was it.
Okay, maybe this is what is exactly the most critical factor to get full ride scholarship in the University of Waterloo?
So I would say strong academics. So the higher your academic score from high school, the bigger the scholarship amount. And then of course we do need to see the admissions information form as well. There's no specific criteria that needs to be filled out on that form. Just answer as genuinely and as open and honest as possible. Tell us about clubs and contests, because we might take that into consideration as well. And then if you are looking at math, computer science, we would also need like the Euclid math contest or the Canadian Senior, some sort of math contest from Waterloo.
Okay. Yeah, like maybe like in computer science that we need must study about programming first or not, like Python or C++. No requirement.
It's not required, no. We will ask if you've had any prior experience. So if you've done some of those languages, great, tell us about that. But really, the program is designed for students who don't have very much experience in it. So we'll teach you what to do. But yeah, if you want to do some work with Python and C++, those are usually the ones I talk to students about. So if you do want to do a bit of research and self-study, that would be really great as well. But we'll teach you everything else you need to know.
Okay, so maybe for closing the webinar, maybe the last statement from Miss Valerie and Kevin Daniel? Yes.
Do you want me to go first, Kevin, or do you want to go?
Yeah, maybe Kevin first, yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Sure. Thank you, Anton. Yeah. So again, I think Waterloo adalah tempat yang bagus banget buat kalian belajar. Dan yeah, you should apply and see if you guys get in. Terus kayak, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And I think hearing from Kevin is really the best. He was, current student. He is, lots of really good advice and suggestions. And it really is keep working hard. Yes, a lot of our programs are very competitive to get into, but also remain really open-minded. Have a look at what other programs Waterloo offers. Be open-minded to the cooperative education program as well. And, really be flexible and ask a lot of questions. Please don't be shy. Don't, ask the questions that traveling from, a country coming to Canada is a really big move. And so going from high school to university is a huge transition as well. So don't be scared to ask for help and for guidance and really be able to take advantage of the opportunities available to you in university. That's the amazing thing, is that so many doors will open. And so I really hope that you will find the right fit, whether it's at Waterloo or somewhere in Canada. And I really, just keep working hard, and hopefully I'll see your application at some point. And again, please feel free to ask any questions throughout the application process. And I do want to say thank you to all of you. And thank you to,
maybe Miss Valerie, there is 3 last question here.
Sure, of course,
okay.
yeah.
My daughter got to first score, reading 28, listening 24, speaking 25, writing 24. She's just off by 1 point in the writing section. Can she pass the minimum requirement for English?
Sorry, what was the overall again?
Reading 28, listening 24, speaking.
Did they say overall at all? So it's sort of a tricky question to answer. It would be best if they emailed me directly. So yes, if you can email me, I could help sort of with guidance, because I also need to know what program they're going to apply for. Every program at Waterloo, like math, will look at it differently than science. So I will need to maybe look into that a little bit deeper. So feel free to send me an email.
Yeah, overall is 101, yeah? 101.
Oh, it is 101. So again, so depending on the major that they're applying to, we will look at it maybe differently. So yes, if they could maybe email me directly, and then I can follow up with them.
Okay. And then another question again. What is the acceptance rate in Waterloo University?
So we don't post like an acceptance rate so much. We have lots of different numbers, of course. So the number of seats in the program versus how many applications. If you're looking at computer science versus, say, a larger arts program, the sort of acceptance rate will look a little bit different. But for some programs, we look at more than just grades. So we can post sort of a minimum range to have your application looked at. But within that range, until we see all the applications, we don't really know exactly. So for example, I can share computer science because I know that's popular among this audience. And so last year we had close to 9,000 applications for about 320 spots. So it is a difficult decision. We have to say no to very strong students. But again, it's supply and demand. How many applications and how many really, really strong applications will sort of push that admissions average up. And then some of our larger majors like science, even math, high 80%. And then some of the arts, environment, and sciences could be low to mid 80% overall average. So unfortunately, there's not just one sort of acceptance average. We kind of have to look at each major individual.
Okay, and then how supportive is the school of any research done independently, provide facilities and mentoring?
Awesome. We love that. So, and we find that a lot of students will do that. When they come to Waterloo for a program, it's probably because they love everything to do with that program. And so, yes, we have lots of free spaces in different areas, research places, and professors to connect to if you want to continue your studies more or continue the research a bit more formally. We would walk you through that process. We have mentors in place. We have, we have different student design areas, depending if it's maybe engineering and you need bigger space and sort of bigger working zones, you can definitely find that. Yeah, we definitely encourage different research. The clubs that we have on campus also might be a good match for what those interests are. Kevin, did you want to add anything to that about student interests, research, that kind of thing?
Sorry, I wasn't really following. So what about
okay.
student interest research?
So the student was asking about how much do we support, or do students do their own sort of self research and self-taught sort of stuff?
Right. I think like there are a lot of like support, even like during like psychological support, right? Like even during exams, like usually there are like sessions where there are like puppies or like some pets where you can actually like pet them, right? Like yeah, I think those just show like the kind of attention that Waterloo give on students' psychological well-being, and like a lot of courses are also like developing students like emotional side or like non-technical side to like PD courses or like other related courses like that. So yeah, there are a lot of support.
Thank you for mentioning that as well. Definitely. So we want to make sure that you're supported emotionally, mentally as well. So yeah, our counselors will check in, or you are always open to reach out to the specialists we have on campus. So whether it's advisors, tutors, or whatever, definitely there's different things in place to make sure you feel supported, well-rounded, and that kind of thing. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Kevin.
One question again,
Mm-hmm.
like, do I need to have an international medal on mathematics to get full scholarship? Like IMO, International Mathematics Olympiad.
So no longer offering the full scholarship, so we won't look for the medal specifically, but we will take that into consideration for the global scholarships. But we aren't limiting it just to medal winners anymore. We are hoping to look at lots of different features. So if you've competed in any of those, but it will look very good on your application. So it's still a competitive process. You have to fill out the application to receive the global scholarships. And by participating in any of those, that will look very good on your application for sure.
Okay, maybe you can share again about your the email or website to get the information about admission and many types of scholarship. Yes.
Yeah. All right, 1 second. So I'm just going to share my screen one more time so that you can see. Here we go. And there's my email address. So again, my name is Valerie. So there's my email, and then the oh, sorry, that's the wrong website. It should say future. There we go. Perfect. So there's the web page. So uwaterloo.ca/future will bring you to all of the details of the admission requirements, the scholarship information, finance, that type of thing. So I'll leave it up for just a minute. And then again, you're automatically considered for scholarships. There are a group of entrance scholarships as well as faculty-specific scholarships. No separate applications unless you are applying for mathematics and computer science. There is the Euclid Math Contest or the Canadian Senior Math Contest, as well as the global and national scholarships. So if you've competed in any national or international Olympiads or competitions, you can apply for those additional scholarships.
Okay, thank you, Miss Valerie from
Wonderful.
Admission Requirement Waterloo,
You're
Admission
welcome.
Office Waterloo University, and Kevin Daniel, alumni of Waterloo University ya. Dan kami mengucapkan terima kasih untuk para audiens, para peserta yang sudah menonton webinar ini sampai malam ya. Padahal di Kanada still 9 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock, right? In the morning, right?
Yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning. Sorry, I know it's probably late for you.
Yeah, this is 9:30 in the night in Indonesia.
Thank you for spending your evening with me.
Ya, oke. Jadi jangan lewatkan, don't miss the opportunity ya to apply in Waterloo University ya. Jadi silakan bagi kalian yang ingin tertarik untuk langsung untuk apply ke Waterloo, tadi langsung disampaikan oleh Miss Valerie dari websitenya, dari emailnya Miss Valerie, dan kalau misalnya ada yang mau itu bisa langsung ke Sun Education juga. Jadi tidak ada biaya apapun ya. Jadi tidak ada biaya apapun. Tadi saya sudah masukkan nomor teleponnya ke YouTube chat ya. Jadi silakan langsung ke Sun Education, perwakilan resmi dari Waterloo University. Oke, terima kasih buat para audiens yang sudah menonton pada webinar kita tentang Waterloo University. Dan terima kasih untuk semuanya dari kolaborasi dari Waterloo University, Sun Education, and Wardaya College. Oke, selamat malam semuanya. Everyone, good night. Ya. Yeah.
Thank you. Terima
Thank
kasih.
you. Ya. Oke, kita foto dulu ya. Buka dulu deh Pak Firman sama.
Awesome.
Oke. Pak Firman mana? Udah. Oke ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Thank you so much ya Miss Valerie ya. Kevin
You're
ya.
welcome. Thank you. Good to meet you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Best of luck in your studies.
One more time ya. One more time.
Okay.
Ya, oke. 1, 2, 3. Ya. Oke. Ya. Oke, thank you Miss Valerie ya, Kevin sama Pak Firman.
Thank you everyone.
Ya, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. Ya, see you. Take care.